Hi everyone, this is Bharati and this video is going to be something about USMLE Step 2 CK, and clearly it is not a video that is going to give you a strategy of how you should prepare, but rather I would consider this as something that you should be aware before you start your preparation for USMLE Step 2 CK examination. And yeah, that is what the whole video theme is. So the first things first, before you start preparing for the Step 2 CK, make sure that you are starting very early, like as soon as possible. Get started with the preparation once after you're done with the step 1, because this is something that's totally true. People like out there in the social media who have gone through the process, they would have always told that start step 2 preparation as early as you get done with the step 1, because this NPME examiners, they wanted you to be certain of all the foundational concepts that you learn in step 1, because this is what the step 2 is built on. Like, this is not something, the totally two different entities, like they are both integrated. So step 1 knowledge is ultimately a biggest foundation that you could ever work on before you start your step 2 CK preparation. So that is first point I would definitely put my stress on, because I didn't do that in my situation. It's like it's been difficult because I gave my step 1 during the internship period, which is almost very intense, as you guys know that too, when I was in the majors postings. So that that gave me an ultimate relief that okay, something I have done now, so I'm not going to touch this, like at least for the next few months. So that made me to start my step 2 preparation like an year after that. And also, as a financially broke individual who had been juggling with a lot of emotional baggages, it has ultimately been a tough situation. So that is like one of my excuse, or could be a reason why I started late. So don't ever do that mistake. That would be my first take. So the second thing is that this step 1 book is going to be with you throughout your time, like to a such extent, because when you're starting your step 2 preparation with UWorld, right? So UWorld is going to dominate almost half of your preparation phase, which is sometimes people called it as pre-dedicated phase. So like if you search in the social media, like most of the people, they give you a notion that you have two phases, like pre-dedicated phase and then the dedicated phase, isn't it? So in the pre-dedicated phase, you are going to be doing UWorld, except the fact that it is pre-dedicated phase, guys, trust me, it is as dedicated as you wish, because this is also something very important. Like, I missed it because I underestimated the exam. That is actually going to be my third point. But right now, in your pre-dedicated phase, you are going to do everything that reinforces all of the concepts that you learned in step 1, but in a slight tweak. Like, you are tweaking it in a way that how it is necessary and how it is required from the step 2 point of view, from the management point of view per se, or from the the diagnostics point of view. So ultimately, this teeny tiny details like histology and what else, like mechanism of action of certain drugs, those are all not a big deal for step 2. But rather, if you take like a pheochromocytoma, it is still the same, a part of men too, and you are going to have like this red proton gene mutation. All of this are still important. Yes, trust me, it is still important in step 2 and it is still being tested. So the things are being framed in a way, as I said, your step 1 going to be the foundation, and the step 2 knowledge is built on that, over that. So what I would suggest is, when you are doing UWorld, do it dedicatedly. No matter, even I call it like a pre-dedicated phase, it is actually a dedicated phase. And what you should do is, do the UWorld, even if you are starting like 20 questions per day, which I did, because I had a lot of difficulty since I started it very late after step 1. I couldn't even train my brain in a way that how the UWorld step 2 questions are being asked. So I was still trying to process the questions in the same way while I did for step 1. So that got me like most of the questions wrong, and I was always between this 50 to 60s percentage with each block. Never mind, it's okay. Like, as the same with step 1, you are not going to mind the percentages of step 2 UWorld. Rather, you're just going to learn, and you're learning in a way that is going to be dedicated, and that is going to be reinforcing your concepts of step 1, but in a slight adding some, it's like making biryani. You're going to put some spices, and on top of it, you're going to make it smell more, taste more, isn't it? So like that, yeah, typical South point of view. So yeah, jokes apart, so it is kind of like that. So step 2 pre-dedicated phase is actually a dedicated phase, that you should treat it like that. The last point itself, like what I elaborated in my last point, this already gave you some idea that this exam is such a big deal. That is totally true. Believe me, I actually didn't get it. Like when I entered the dedicated phase, when I started doing the CMS forms, then only I realized, oh my god, this is something beyond my expectation, like beyond my imagination, that this is going really hard. Like I didn't expect this like that. So I want you to, think and prepare your mind. Like this is not something just about retaining new world concepts and memorizing facts. This is something that involves a lot of grind, that involves a lot of analysis, that involves a lot of blood and sweat. I don't know in what way I can put this. So for example, I will tell you, after almost I did with the UWorld, and then I gave all the CMS, and then I sit for the assessment, I pretty much scored very below average. And for me, surprisingly, I never scored anything below average, like throughout my medicine. Not to brag, but at least to reinforce the fact that this is not a simple exam. This is not something that you get the concept and put it in the question and then yes, that's it, you're gonna be done good. No, it is not like that. This is something that is very huge, and with proper assessments, with proper question taking strategy, and applying the knowledge whatever you got throughout your medical career, this is going to be something huge. And if you wanted to take like between 240s to up to 240, or to even keep it like even 250 range, it is fully about your knowledge and whatever you read. But after that, each and every point is a matter of a grit and willpower. It is a 9 hours exam, and the time management, and under that pressure of time, your brain have to work in a fraction of seconds to get what the examiner is asking. And it is always going to be a lengthy questions, which you won't even see in the UWorld, I guess. Which means, think how bad it is going to be. Like in 1 minute or in 1 minute 30 seconds, you should obviously conclude what is your answer to, no matter whatever the question is. Like even for the biostats, even from the calculation point of view, or whether it be an experimental question, whether it be an ethics question, which almost you never understand what they are asking. So all of this, everything plays a role. And think, like, if from the knowledge point of view, from the basic medical things that you have learned for years and years, like for me, I pretty much did everything I can. Like at least I think I did, but it is not enough. It is still not enough, because the way how we train is different. Like the way how you learn stuffs when it comes to step 2 is becoming different. So I hope I should give you a heads up for that point. Don't never ever underestimate the exam. It is going to break you mentally, physically, and to no matter whatever the extent. So if you wanted to avoid it, just please do dedicated study in your pre-dedicated itself. That's what all I can say. I mean at this point of time, that is what I analyzed from my experience. And then the last point is listening to people's opinion. So this is something very controversial, I know. Like I am here, I am giving you the opinions only from my perspectives, and but still I tell you, like listening to people's opinion is very valid, is something very refreshing, regenerating, whatever the ways that you have already handled the material. But still, if you are not confident enough, like if you are not confident enough the way how you studied, then no matter whatever the opinion that people give you, and you try to randomly shift your study methods, put different other strategies, that what people were whichever worked for the other people, then ultimately you are still in the blind spot. You still didn't realize what is best for you, and which strategy would give you an ultimate outcome that you expect. So I would rather tell you to just analyze yourself wherever you stand. See what mistake that you did before it's getting too late. Like what happened in my situation, it was too late for me, that I almost did all the stuffs, like the UWorld, the CMS, and then the half of the assessments, and then now only I realized, okay, I think I should just sit and then recall whatever I did and whatever the mistakes that I did. And that is now helping me to not just blindly putting the opinions of other people's, like from Reddit posts or Facebooks or Instagram or whatever. The best thing that you can get out of other people's experiences, just the experience. Yes, because there is no single strategy that is proven or evidence-based or research-based, whatever. There is no single strategy that tells you that, okay, do this and this is going to give you the mark. No, there is not at all one strategy like that. It is going to be individualized. It is going to be customized according to your needs, according to your knowledge, and according to your timeline of preparation, and how much ever weeks that you are giving for your dedicated period or pre-dedicated period or whatever. So it is completely very subjective point of view. So even if I'm giving you these the opinions, it is just from my point of view, and whatever the mistakes that I did so far, like from the start of my preparation till now, this will help you to, it's going to be like a warning or disclaimer or pretty much whatever you can keep, but this is going to give you an idea what you shouldn't. Like, I didn't give you what you should, instead I'm telling you what you shouldn't.